Hi everyone, here's the question of the day. What does a big box home improvement store have to do with a healthcare treatment plan, and how do they relate? I'm Dr. Scott Theirl. Stay tuned and let's talk about it.
I'm Dr. Scott Theirl, and this is my practice, Functional Restoration. I became a chiropractor 20 years ago to focus on complex cases specializing in neurology. Subscribe and welcome.
So this has been an incredibly busy summer at my house with lots of projects, both inside and outside, and that tends to be what we do in the Midwest, is just push really hard to get things done while it's nice, and this summer's been no different. But recently on one of my trips to one of the big box home improvement stores, I walked out thinking this is a lot like what patients experience with treatment plans. And here's my analogy. When you go into a big box home improvement store, you need often a guide. Where can I best find A, B, and C? I have a project and I know what I want to accomplish. I want this to work better, I want that to look better, I want to make sure that everything functions long term. And they say, here's my best idea of what you're going to need. And they lead you to there and you make your purchases. Well, a treatment plan is exactly the same way. I get a lot of questions about, Doc, how do you come up with treatment plans? Because the cases that we attract here at Functional Restoration, my practice, these are not easy cases to work with. These tend to be long-term neurologic challenges, right? And so all of a sudden you say, what tools do you have and where can I find them as a patient? Now all of a sudden, as a practitioner, I'm the guide for you, right? And so you come in and you say, Doc, it sounds like you got a lot of neat tools there. I would like help with A, B, and C. And I say, we're going to start in one of two aisles. The first aisle is going to have fuel. What do I mean by fuel? It's the things that you eat, it's what you put in your stomach, right? And your gut, does it tend to cause inflammation and immune challenges? Does it tend to cause issues down the road with maybe causing lethargy and GI distress? And does that overflow into what's going on with your hormone system and your nervous system? That's your whole neuroendoimmune system. What else is fuel? Well, fuel has a lot to do with hormones. It has a lot to do with neurotransmitters. So we need to think about not only lifestyle changes, work stress, family stress, are you sleeping enough? What are you eating, right? But also, might we want to check your thyroid? Might we want to work with your sex hormones and check your sex hormones? Might we want to work with neurotransmitters? And might we want to work with stress hormones such as cortisol? Each one of those is a fuel opportunity for you. They're all found in aisle one. And you can walk down aisle one and we can pick and choose what we think we need to help you attain your project goals. Not everybody needs everything. Some people have already done an amazing job with their diet and their gut. And they've already done hormones with another practitioner, right? So maybe they just need to do neurotransmitters in here in order to feel their best. The thing I want you to remember about fuel is that fuel for you is different than fuel for your car. You run on a beautiful symphony of biochemistry. It's not just whether you take 87 or 89 octane. It's serotonin, it's dopamine, it's norepinephrine, it's cortisol, it's thyroid hormones, T4 and T3, it's sex hormones, and yes, it's food allergies and inflammatory responses with your diet and your gut. All of those is a fuel tank for you, and we need to figure out which fuel tanks you need a little help topping off, or if you have any one fuel tank that's overflowing, we need to back down that fuel source so that you come back into balance. That's all found in aisle one, fuel. Aisle two is activation. Activation is totally different. Activation is what you would expect from a chiropractor. It's all kinds of great hands-on body work with chiropractic adjustments if necessary, right? And muscle work and ultrasound and electric stim and cold laser and things to generally take you out of pain and help you feel better and move better. And they'll also probably improve your balance systems. But that's not all, because as a functional neurologist and a chiropractic neurologist, we want to make sure that what happens with your brain and your body is in sync. And that's called sensory motor integration. We use various tools to do this, but the real goal is how do we help your brain integrate what you see with what you hear, with how you move and how you balance in a way that is seamless. We want all of that to come together in a way that never causes a stress or a fight or flight response. Because if there's something out of sync with your sensory system and motor system, in terms of balance and motor planning and other things with your eye movements, right? It causes a physiologic stress response that leads us to have to go back into aisle number one, fuel, to fuel you back up before we can come back into aisle number two and do some of these brain-based exercises and activate and turn on your brain and your body. Fuel, activation. That's what we have as functional neurologists and integrative medicine practitioners. Every practitioner has a little bit of different tools in their toolbox, right? We use here in my office everything from virtual reality to help your visual system rehabilitate, to chiropractic care, to a lot of work with hormones and neurotransmitters and diet and food allergies. And together, we're able to help lead you down those two aisles. Now, there's one more important thing I want you to remember between a home store and a treatment plan. Usually when you're doing a home improvement project, you don't go to that home store just once. You're usually back there 2, 3, 4 times to finish that project. And usually that project requires changing the order with which your best laid plans were made. Meaning, you don't just get to do it all in one foul swoop. It doesn't work that way. It requires some flexibility, both on the part of you and on the part of me as a doctor. That treatment plan requires flexibility. Because if for some reason you're not making progress with all of the beautiful activation therapies we're doing to rehab you, then we got to come back into aisle 1 and revisit how are we going to fuel you. Or if we started with fuel and now it's time to do some activation, it requires multiple visits back, right? The good news is if you find a practitioner that has lots of tools in their toolbox, you can visit multiple aisles and have lots of different opportunities on the shelves to choose from for your ultimate healthcare goals and rehabilitation. I know it's a little confusing and it's a little bit odd of an analogy, but it really did strike me that it's similar. It all requires time, it all requires energy and persistence, it all requires money, but at the end of the day, if you're going to do a job right, whether it's fixing your home or helping your brain and your body be the best they can be, well, it's worth persistence, I think. Listen, if you like these videos, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and follow us and hit the bell so you get notified when we release new information. Visit our website, yourbestbrain.com, for more information on our practice here in southeastern Wisconsin. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, that sounds great to me too. I'm Dr. Scott Theirl. I'm wishing you your very best brain, your very best body, and your very best life. And if you happen to be going to a home improvement store, I wish you quick resolution on whatever project you're doing next. Thanks so much for spending a couple minutes with me.